Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to Dr. Kausar and also to our fellow friends. My name is Amira Shohadabita Sharuddin and we are from Group 1. We'll be presenting about Native Americans' way of life, cultures, and also resistance to settler colonialism. So first of all, I am going to introduce to you who are these Native Americans. Basically, according to Cambridge English Dictionary, Native Americans can be defined as a member of one of the groups of people who were living in North and the South of America before Europeans arrived. They also can be called as American Indian, Indigenous American, Aboriginal American Indian, Amerindian, American, and First Nation person. Wow, there's a lot of names, but basically they can be called as the Native Americans. It was said that back then, in the Ice Age period, the earliest descendant of Native American came across from Asia to Alaska through the Bering Land Bridge. As you can see in the slides, the maps of the that show the Bering Land Bridge, and also I have my own globe here. So this is the Asia continent, while this is the America continent. So back then, they said that there was a land bridge between these two continents, and Native Americans came from this Asia continent to the American continent through this Bering Land Bridge. Well, that's really interesting. Native American, they usually live in groups or tribes based on the places that they live and also based on their cultures that they practice. There were hundreds of tribes that lived throughout the continent. Anthropologists, because there were so many tribes, anthropologists or geographers usually divided the group of Native Americans according to their cultural areas in the whole continent. So they group the people or the tribes according to their geographical location and also to their similar characteristics and cultures that the tribes practice. Well, generally the researcher focused on 10 important cultural areas. Moving on, now I'll be talking about their cultures, specifically their cultures according to the cultural areas. The first one is the Arctic. The region is located near the Arctic Circle in Alaska, Greenland, and Canada, and the tribes that live there were the Inuit and also the Aleut. And Inuit, for example, usually are nomadic, while the Aleut live in small fishing villages and they live in a dome-shaped house. We call it as igloos, like you can see in the picture, the dome-shaped house. While the second one is the subarctic. Okay, the subarctic is located in swampy region inland of Alaska and Canada. In the western area, the tribes that live there were the Athabascan speakers tribe, while in the eastern area was the Algonquin speakers. So they usually live in a small family groups in small movable tents. Okay, the next one is the northeast. It was located near the Atlantic coast towards the North Carolina and Mississippi River Valley, and it was dominated by Iroquoian speaking tribes and also the Algonquian speaking tribes. And they usually live in small fishing and farmer villages. And they also have clans that name of the animals. Well, that's interesting. Fourth one is the southeast. So southeast cultural areas was located in the south of the northeast area and near the north of the Gulf of Mexico. So it was a farming communities, and they also usually harvested lots of crops. And also there were some of the famous tribes that was called the five civilized tribes, consists of Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Craig, and Seminole. So in the picture you can see the members of the Seminole tribes, and the second one is the Cherokee tribes that was ready for the green corn dance. Now the fifth culture areas, which is the plains. The plains located in the raised prairies region in Canada, way to the central United States and into Texas. There are various tribes that live here that use different languages. Some of the famous tribes such as the Comanche, Crow, and Arapaho. Some of the tribes were hunters, while some others were farmers, but basically they are known for their skilled horsemanship and also known as the master rider and strong warriors. Okay, now we have gone through half of the culture areas. Well, I know there's a lot. So now the sixth culture area, which is the southwest. Okay, Southwest is located in the desert region in Arizona and New Mexico, and the tribes, most of them live as farmers in permanent settlements in house called pueblos, as you can see in the picture. So they're also famously known for the jewelries, and like I said before, most of them are farmers, but except for Navajo and Apache tribes because they are nomadic and mostly are hunters. So this is the 6 culture areas. Now moving on to the 7 culture areas that located at the intermittent deserts in areas near Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and many other regions. It was a big area, and the tribes are usually nomadic and they live in wickiups made by willow poles or in teepees. And the 8th culture area is the Plateau. So Plateau located in Columbia and Fraser River basins, also at the intersection of 5 culture areas. So generally the tribes live in fishing villages, in permanent settlements, and some tribes also become hunters after some time, and they were famously known for their innovation capabilities, technologies, and also their breeding animals. The Appaloosa horse, as you can see in the picture of the Appaloosa horse. So now we are down to the last two. The second last culture area is the northwest coast. The tribes live alongside the Pacific Ocean from British Columbia to the Northern California. There was an abundance of natural sources and food. There's a lot of food there, and that led to highly stratified and sophisticated societies. While in California, the last one is California. Congratulations, you made it this far. It was located in present-day California. It was a highly diverse and populated area. There are more than 300,000 natives that live there. So they live within the tribal systems and mostly were hunters and gatherers. Those are our 10 cultural areas. But wait, that's not the end yet, because in our presentation, we will also talk about 3 specific tribes as example. The first one is the Cherokee, a group of southeastern Indians that live in the southeastern, while the second one is the Powhatan, a group of eastern woodland Indians that live in the central plain of Virginia, and the third one is the Comanche, the Native American nation of the Great Plains. Okay, so I will explain about their culture. First and foremost is the Cherokee. For the language, Cherokee has their own language system that was developed by Sikoya in 1821. As for the religion, they believe in spirits, and their main god or their main great spirit is called as Unatlantri. And also, sacred fire is one of their most important religion elements. While for ceremonies, Cherokee commonly celebrated 6 ceremonies, such as the new moon of the spring ceremony and the green corn ceremony. And for the arts and crafts, Cherokee warriors usually are heavily tattooed all over their bodies, and also all those people, the Cherokee people, usually covered in beading clothes and beautiful bead headpieces. Next, for the Powhatan tribes use the Algonquian language, the common language in their areas, while for the arts and craft, Powhatan usually painted and tattooed their bodies with abstract designs, and also their clothing usually made from animal skin and fur. And for the religion, they worship a hierarchy of gods and spirits, mainly 2 major gods, Ahani, the god created, and also the evil spirit. As for the ceremonies, Powhatan also have some rituals and sacrifices related to their religion, and also they have other ceremonies which they celebrate with dances and songs. And last but not least, the Comanche tribes. So the Comanche spoke in Shoshone or Auto-Aztecan language. As for their arts and craft, they usually wear clothes from deer and also buffalo skin. And usually, both women and men, they have the 2 long breasts. And as for the religion, they believe in Aminism. And also, they believe in Manito. They worship Manito as their great spirit or their main god. And for the ceremonies, they also have ceremonies like the Sweat Lodge ceremony and also the Sundance ceremonies. So that's all from me. Do you feel more curious to know about these Native Americans or about their tribes? Well, now I will pass the floor to my friend Nukaria to talk about their ways of life.